Let's bring in our political editor, Andrew Clennell. And Andrew, it's really putting the test on the new government, the new Energy and Climate Minister, sworn in just yesterday.
Absolutely, Kieran. Well, let's talk about what several people in the industry have described to me this morning as an energy crisis in this country. What a challenge for a new Labor government. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said he was going to end the climate wars. Energy Minister Chris Bowen repeated that line today. Well, good luck with that when you have gas and electricity prices about to go through the roof.
The climate wars should end, and the Albanese Labor government will seek to end the climate wars by real action on climate change, bringing Australians together and listening to Australians of all walks of life, particularly Australians with great expertise. And emergency leaders for climate action have that expertise.
Now, there are a number of reasons for what is occurring. One is, of course, a shortage of gas caused by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Another factor is difficulties with supply chains. Another is the high price of coal, which leads to more markets hunting for gas. In Australia, it is the simple fact that a shortage of gas worldwide has tempted the gas companies to get the higher price selling overseas. It's a price problem, not a supply problem. The spike in wholesale gas prices has already caused the collapse of a number of small retailers, putting more pressure on the bigger retailers to supply gas. The Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, was not ruling out pulling the gas trigger yesterday or this morning. That's a measure which would cap exports and lead to reservations for the domestic market. But the gas trigger would not come into operation if activated until January 1, and that would be too late. Anyway, here was the Treasurer on this yesterday and today.
If you think about what's happened in our economy since the end of March, inflation is higher. We've had an interest rate hike. Petrol prices are up 12% since the end of April. Wholesale electricity prices are up 237% since the end of March. Gas more than 300% higher than the average of the last couple of years. We do have labour shortages. We do still have COVID absenteeism, and the international environment has become more challenging as well. I'm not prepared to commit at this point to pulling the trigger. That is a subject of some discussion and deliberation, but we need to be upfront with your viewers, Pete, whether it's the trigger, whether it's the price caps, whether that's other policy levers at the disposal of federal and state governments. You know, this is not the sort of challenge that you can flick a switch and solve overnight.
Well, his energy counterpart, Chris Bowen, was only sworn in yesterday. But he did not really have an easy answer to the problem today, other than saying he had rung every state energy minister and was meeting them next week. So the question was put to Chris Bowen whether he should start hassling gas company CEOs to ensure supply and to end price gouging.
Minister King is doing that today. She's speaking to the Chief Executive of the gas. Now, I want to say to you respectfully, that sort of culture war of this is that person's fault or this person's fault. We will take any action necessary to ensure proper gas supply. But what I'm not going to do is start unnecessarily demonising particular people or particular sectors. If the ACCC needs to take action, they will have our full support. If the Australian Energy Regulator needs to take action, they will have our full support.
Just like Treasurer Jim Chalmers with his characterisation of the economy yesterday, Chris Bowen was keen to pin the blame for the exploding gas price on the former government, trying to blame Angus Taylor and 9 years of what he says is not putting enough renewables in the system. The days of knee-jerk reactions are over, he says.
I make clear that the Albanese Labor government will take whatever action is necessary to ensure ongoing reliability and affordability for the energy markets, particularly on the East Coast. But I also make this point. The days of knee-jerk reactions, the days of ad hoc interventions, the days of implementing ill-thought-out policies are the days of the last 9 years.
Well, let's hold the minister to that. Mr Bowen also mentioned a perfect storm creating these conditions.
Australian energy markets are facing a perfect storm. There are a number of factors at play in relation to the very serious and challenging situation with electricity supply and with gas supply in particular. We are facing, obviously, a geopolitical situation around the world. We're facing some coal-fired power closure station outages and some flooding impacts on coal mines and an array of other factors.
If you speak to people on the coalition side, they will tell you that there is no coincidence that the moment Labor has got in, gas prices went up. They are backgrounding that Bowen doesn't realise he needs to front foot it with the gas companies. The Australian Energy Market Operator intervened this morning. It has capped wholesale gas prices at $40 per gigajoule and put in place the gas supply guarantee mechanism. The New South Wales government and its Energy Minister Matt Keane has also acted to cap gas prices. Some in the industry are wondering why the ACCC are not acting to help guarantee agreements on price. But it's not just gas that's the problem for the government, it's electricity as well. There was the announcement by the Australian Energy Regulator the week after the election that electricity prices were going to rise by up to 20% in September and October. Imagine what happens politically when that washes through. The industry was expecting an announcement on that in early May. There seems little doubt that AER announcement was delayed for after the election, Kieran.